All right, welcome back, crime fighters, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up the bad guys. I'm Chris Wright, along with John Garlick from the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, our Chief Deputy. Good to see you, John.
Good to see you, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing quite well.
Maybe it's cold outside.
It is. Very cold this morning.
Frozen fog.
Yeah, that's always fun to deal with.
And we had some schools were late opening. A lot of businesses were late opening.
Yeah, had to deal with that with my kid. Now, okay, I got William and Reese head off to school at 7:30 every morning. That's the time they leave the house. Okay, and so we didn't wake William up this morning. And then about 7:30, he wakes up and looks at his iPad, and it says 7:30, and he comes down with, oh no, is my iPad wrong? And he looks at the clock on the stove, and it says 7:30, and he's starting to freak out a little bit. And he's in his underwear. I said, all right, get in the car. I'll take you to school right now. I got some clothes you can put on in the car. And he's just running.
That's mean.
Yeah.
That's really mean. That's bad parenting.
He did not run out in the freezing cold in his underwear.
We're going to get Katina to talk to you later.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Katina will have a parenting tip for us here in a few minutes, and I'll pay attention to it. Let's take a look away from my criminal activities and talk about how the viewers have helped with other
they
crimes.
have. They've done great. Again this week, arrested 2 people, bringing our count to 4,303 brought to justice since we started. It's really amazing. We always get good tips, and we've been able to really lock some people up because everybody just calls, and it's great.
All right, there's some folks that are out wandering around right now that we're keeping an eye out for that are finding people's cars that are unlocked at night.
Yes, so we've had a rash of, and you'll see it in our Crime Stoppers segment, we've had a rash of B&E autos, and most of those cars were unlocked. There were a couple that were locked. So like we talked about last week, don't leave stuff of value in your car, especially if it's visible. Because even if your car's locked, if you've got lots of Christmas presents or brand new television screens in there, they're going to break a window and get in.
Yeah, they're not going to break the window if they don't see a reason, but if they see a reason, they will.
But most of these guys, most of the B&E autos we had, they're just walking through the neighborhood checking car doors. When the car doors open, they search around the car and find what they're going to find. Had a bunch of firearms stolen. So please, I get it. You want to carry a firearm, you want to carry it in your car for your safety, please do. But I would recommend you bring it back in a house at the end of the day, so that it's just not sitting in there, locked or not.
Yeah, it's not really a good thing to help the criminals get weapons that we don't know they have.
Right, it's just kind of dangerous. And too, if you have a family car and your 16-year-old drives it and you happen to leave a gun in it, well, that's not a good thing either. So
right.
Keep it in the house or with you where you can use it.
All right, so we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up in our lineup this week, Cynthia King. Miss King, last known to be living in Oxford, she's wanted for a bond revocation on possession of a controlled substance and a failure to appear on possession of controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And this is Byron Hester. Mr. Hester, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on illegal possession of prescription drugs. Take a look at Justin Maddox. Mr. Maddox, last known to be living in Gadsden, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, use and possession of drug paraphernalia, a probation violation, on delivering and selling of drug paraphernalia. And we'd like you to meet Amanda Morris. Miss Morris, last known to be living in Decatur, she's wanted for a failure to appear on criminal trespass third. And here is Jarrell Edmonds. Mr. Edmonds, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on giving false name to law enforcement. Take a look at Marco Trejo Resendez. Mr. Trejo Resendez, last known to be living in Oxford, he's wanted for failure to appear on sexual abuse first. And last up for the first half of our lineup, Anthony Rivera Rosario. Mr. Rivera Rosario, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a bond revocation for obstruction of justice by using false ID and manufacturing of a controlled substance. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, welcome back. We'll have some more bad guys for you in a few minutes, and also we'll have our crazy criminal of the week coming up later, and our Crime Stoppers segment. We'll be talking about those vehicle break-ins and other things.
Oh yeah, need your help with that.
But right now, we want to talk about Project Search, which is not the next America's Top Model or American Idol.
Darn.
Susan and Roy are with us. Susan's with the Board of Education and Roy with the Opportunity Center. And so what is Project Search? What are we searching for?
Project Search is a national transition program for young adults with various abilities. These young adults come back to high school. They enroll back in high school as a 13th year student. They have already met all the qualifications for graduation, but they agree to come back because they need just a little extra help getting ready for employment.
Wait a minute, we're not just cutting ties and saying, hey, you're loose out there in the world and we're not going to help you anymore. We're actually giving people more attention, more help to help them be successful in life?
Absolutely.
That's
That
great.
is our goal, and we are super proud of the program, and we feel like we are actually more than proud. We're very passionate about it. We want all of our interns to do well, and we are located, our site is actually located at Regional Medical Center. So even though I'm a teacher, my classroom and everything is at Regional Medical Center.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
So we're talking about differently abled students. What are some of the things that we may be seeing, somebody that might qualify for this program?
Well, to qualify for the program, you have to be a consumer of vocational rehabilitation, which is through the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services. So that would be the first piece of criteria. Mm-hmm. And we take applications from a variety of disabilities, but we typically want to see individuals who are not ready for going out on the job by themselves yet. And if they are ready to go to college without any accommodations, then they don't need us. Mm-hmm. But the individuals must be ready or must be able to eventually be able to work independently and navigate a place of employment independently.
So how do they sign up or get involved or work their way into your program?
They can talk with their case managers at their local schools, or they can speak with their vocational rehabilitation counselor.
Roy, you're a skills trainer, right?
Yes.
So what kind of skills are you training these young men and women in?
Well, what we do is we go out with the kids as they go into their jobs. We get trained on what they're going to be trained on. So when there's something that occurs and they need to be retrained, then we have the ability to go ahead and adjust them so that they can be successful in that job.
So you've got to be prepared for all kinds of different things.
That's right.
We could throw you out in the world and you could find a way to earn a living, couldn't you?
That's correct, because we have to go out, do the things that they would do, and then come back.
Yeah. This means a lot to me to see this kind of program going on. Because I've got a friend that I went to high school with, and he was differently abled, and his abilities were not really developed. And he's spent his entire adult life not working. There are things I know he could have done, and he knows he could have done, but the way the system was set up, it would have not been to his advantage, at least financially, to go out and work. Everything was set up as roadblocks instead of opportunities. So, and that doesn't help his self-esteem. It doesn't help his daily life. You know, I don't want to talk too much about his life, but and get too personal on him, but it's great to see that kids today are being identified for what they can do, and that we're helping them reach the point where they can be successful.
Right. This is actually our second year with the program, and Regional Medical Center agreed to be our host site. And in doing so, last year we had 8 interns complete the program in May, and 8 interns were employed by the end of May. 3 of those interns were hired by Regional Medical Center. So they have a vested interest in our program. They have taken us in like we are part of their family, and we are very thankful to them.
That's awesome. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about some of those success stories and see how the program is heading and what we can all do when we come back here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Jody Cheatwood. Mr. Cheatwood, last known to be living in Delta, he's wanted on a probation revocation on theft of property second and destruction of state property as an inmate. And this is Jeremy Goss. Mr. Goss, last known to be living in Jacksonville, he's wanted for failure to appear on illegal possession of prescription drugs. And take a look at Melissa Hall. Miss Hall, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted on a bond revocation for criminal trespass third and a failure to appear on domestic violence third harassment. We'd like you to meet Jason Humphreys. Mr. Humphreys, last known to be living in Mumford, he's wanted on a probation revocation on possession of marijuana second. Take a look at Ricky Parker. Mr. Parker, last known to be living in Heflin, he's wanted on failure to appear for fraudulent use of a credit card. And last up in our lineup this week, Kanoa Griffin. Miss Griffin, last known to be living in Dothan, she's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a forged instrument second. And that's it for this week's lineup. If you know the whereabouts of these folks, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 256-238-1414.
All right, coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have the Crime Stopper segment of the show and our Crazy Criminal of the Week. But right now we're talking about Project Search. We've got Susan, and Michelle has joined us now as well. You were also with the Opportunity Center, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we were talking during the break about how it's not just skills that get in the way of some people having success in life. It's also the ability to get to where they can use those skills, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us about how you're tackling that problem, Michelle.
A lot of them will take public transportation back and forth to us, and also we are offering driver's ed for them. We have a lot that have gotten their permit and their driver's license through us, and we offer that to them as free. Susan, do you have those numbers?
I do. Last year we had 6 of our 8 interns obtain their driver's licenses, and 1 obtained a learner's permit. And this year we have 11 interns, and so far 7 have driver's licenses, 2 have permits, and 2 have not yet had the opportunity to test.
Yeah, it's great that we have some public transportation that these interns are able to use, but it's limited.
Yes.
We don't have perfect public transportation, and for these interns to be able to attain that skill of driving and get that driver's license, helping them get there, that opens so many roads.
Oh yeah,
literally and figuratively.
Yeah. You got to get to work to be able to make a living, and you know we have that problem too. We have people that eventually get arrested for driving without a license, and then they get out of jail, and then they got to work to pay fines, but they don't have a driver's license, and
they've started that downward cycle.
It's a real problem. Yeah.
With Project Search, we're starting an upward cycle immediately, recognizing you said these are kids that they've finished high school and now they get that 13th year.
Right. I think that it has really become a game changer for these individuals, not only for employment, but also self-confidence. We have interns that come to us and they're down on themselves because they really did struggle in school. But when they come to us, we become a team and a family, and we take care of each other, and they find a group of friends that they never had in high school because they all feel comfortable and confident with one another. And then they go out into the hospital in their internship areas, and those co-workers, because they just basically take them in as a co-worker, they've adopted them. They bring lunch to them or bring them Christmas gifts and invite them to the work parties. So it really is an all-encompassing experience for the interns individually.
It's all about partnerships. Now, you're in partnership with, obviously, RMC and,
Yes.
and the school system,
Yes.
an Opportunity Center. Well, who else is involved in all that?
The Alabama Department of Rehabilitation with vocational rehabilitation is who actually funds the program. I'm employed by Calhoun County Schools, but the remainder of the program, the driver's training and things like that, are funded through vocational rehabilitation. But we also have joint partnerships with the Alabama State Department of Developmental Disabilities and Mental Health.
So what's it take to grow? You got 11 interns right now?
Yes.
How do we get to 20?
I think a lot of times it's just knowing about the program. We do the best we can through the school system, going through the case managers and really talking up the program. I think also parents and students don't always know what they want to do when they graduate. So just being able to take a chance on Project Search and seeing the difference that can be made with them.
Very cool. All right, so we've got about a minute left. Is there anybody that you want, that you're just glowing about the response that you had? I know it's still a young program, but I know you've had some success stories already.
We have. Last year, as I said, we had all 8 were employed by the end of the year. We have, I have to look at my numbers, we have 4 full-time and 4 part-time. 3 of those were at Regional Medical Center. One part-time is with the City of Weaver. 1 part-time is with Hilton Garden Inn in Oxford. We have a full-time at Stringfellow with HHS, which is their contract environmental services group. So we are very thankful to our community partnerships and employers for giving us the chance to show them what our interns can do.
And as we all know, employers are having a hard time finding employees these days.
Right.
There may be some employers reaching out to you about this. Is there a way they can get in contact with you, Michelle?
What I was going to say was, and once you hire one of ours, they won't leave you. You know, we don't have the turnaround that you have with the other employees.
We have a Facebook page, and it is Project Search of Calhoun County. And we have an office phone number, and it is
256-231-2839.
Well, thank you very much. It sounds like a great program, and I hope you, as John was saying, keep on growing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We've enjoyed it.
We'll be back in just a few moments. We'll have the Crime Stopper segment of the show and our crazy criminal when we come back on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask your help for these cases. First up, on December 6th, between 3:25 p.m. and 5:30 p.m., 2 males entered a local business on Highway 21 South and stole 2 bottles of vodka. On December 3rd, a handgun was reported stolen from a home on Rock Quarry Road in Oxford. And sometime between December 3rd and December 7th, a home on Eastwood Drive in Anniston was burglarized. They got away with a 55-inch Samsung television and an LG 65-inch flat-screen TV. And sometime on December 7th, a car was broken into. A 9mm Springfield pistol was stolen from that vehicle. And on December 8th, numerous vehicles were broken into in the area of Kingsway Drive, Twin Oaks Drive, Hunter Drive, Club Estates, Casey Court, Pine Hill, Starla Drive, and Coleman Ross Court in Anniston. And that's it for your Crime Stoppers cases this week. If you have any information on these cases, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers. That number, 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, our crazy criminal this week, John, is a Grinch from
Grinch.
Texas. Aaron Urbanski, I think, is his actual name. This guy, he shows up
He's not green.
to protest a Breakfast with Santa event at a church because he said that the church was lying to the kids about Santa.
Oh dear. As in Santa's not real, or that wasn't the real Santa?
I don't want to get into the
Oh.
what he was accusing them of lying about, but
Oh, dear.
just, yeah, trying to ruin Christmas for a bunch of kids is what he's trying to do.
Well,
The Grinch. He goes to a church and protests.
That's
People
terrible.
will protest anything these days.
they will, almost anything. Oh, all
right.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all the time that we've got for this week. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup, and also hopefully not at a church protesting breakfast with Santa on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.